game debuting Cthulhu, Death May Die.
Sorry. I'll put the chair over here.
It's okay, no worries. Oh, I don't need to stay. Alright, so this game this is our forthcoming Death May Die. It's our next release. It actually comes out, we announced it's coming out on, it launches on Tuesday, 3 p.m. PEST. Delayed it till after BenchMarathon so I can show it around a little bit. There's no bags in the game. All right, so this isn't even a production sample. We just mocked up this prototype using some of the final graphics and some of the resins that we got. But it's going to look pretty similar to this, right? The game, imagine you open up the core box, it's going to have a little mini boxes in here. There's a box for Cthulhu. Here's a box for Hasker. And there's a number of episode boxes that come in the game. Everything is nice and boxed up because every episode that you play is very, very, very different. We want to have we want to come as close as possible to having almost like 6 different game modes in this game. The rules are still the same, but every episode has a completely different. Has a completely different feel to it. So what we're looking at right now is the setup of the pilot episode, Blasphemous Alchemy. In case it wasn't obvious, the game is based on the Cthulhu mythos.
It is?
I know, right? But the twist here is, the twist of this game is that Rob and I want to make a game that there are many, many fine games about investigating the subtleties, the existential horror of the mythos, and you die, you go insane, you go to jail, all that stuff. That's fine. That's all well and fine. We wanted to make the Power Gamers fantasy version of it, where you just go and shoot Cthulhu in the face. So this game, I mean, it's hard. You're going to lose most of the time, but it is possible to destroy Cthulhu. That is the goal, in fact. So the way it goes, the core concept of the game is that an ancient apocalyptic cult has started up this ritual that is unstoppable. They're going to summon the Old One into the world. They want to destroy the world because evil. And you guys you've discovered the ritual in progress. You are going to disrupt the ritual in order to bring the Elder One into the world in a very, very narrow time window to make it mortal and then kill it. That's the only way you get to win the game. You lose the game if you die, or if you go insane, or if the window closes and the Old One makes it to the end here and just comes out and whoops, goodbye world, goodbye you.
Go more insane than you start.
More insane than you start. So, you guys have, it's a cooperative game, 1 to 5 players, sorry. These are the investigators that you have. The investigators in this game are very seasoned. They understand. They've seen a few things. They've fought several mythos monsters. They realize that the only way to stop the horror is to just end it. So they've actually gone and they've done all the things you're not supposed to do in the Lovecraftian universe. They read the Necronomicon, the Cultist rules. They learned all the spells, and they are already insane. So, let's say I'm taking out these 3 characters right now. The kid, who's a gate manipulator, she loves being close to gates. We have Morgan, the adventuring spelunker who likes to protect his friends. We have Sister Beth, who's a badass nun who just goes and shoots people with her faith. Each one of these guys is going to start already with an insanity from the insanity deck. So let's say, for example, the kid is catatonic.
Oh my.
Morgan has OCD.
Let me get a picture of that real quick.
And Sister Beth has an extreme case of paranoia. That is your insanity for the game, and it's going to shape the way that you play. Each of your insanities are, as you play the game and as you control tentacles, you're going to lose sanity, which is at the top of your track here. And every time you hit this threshold, you temporarily lose control of your character, and their sanity goes off, and you do something uniquely crazy. Now, one of the twists of the game, of course, is that if you time it right, like it is primarily a strategy game, if you time it right, you actually can make your insanity work for you and be an upside rather than a downside, but that's up to your play.
Oh, that sounds fun.
So, What I've done is, I'll tell you what I did to set up here. I took the episode 1, season 1, episode 1. I took Blasphemous Alchemy out of this box. I took a bunch of Mythos cards out of this box. I took a bunch of Discovery cards out of this box. They are unique to this episode. I took all these fire tokens out of this box. The monster references, and this. They are, and when I'm done, I'm going to put everything back in this box because all the rules that come with this episode are not in other episodes. Every episode is very, very unique and different. The only thing that's in common, of course, is that you use the same characters, use the same basic rules of the game. So what do you do? Great question. Remember, you got to disrupt the ritual, summon the old one, kill it. How to disrupt the ritual is different every episode. So in episode 1, Blasphemous Alchemy, you started off in the Miskatonic University basement. It's on fire already. The cultists are using science to put together an ultimate Philosopher's Stone concoction that will fuse the gates, bringing the Elder One into the world. You need to science.
Science.
Yeah, this one's about science. So you have to go and destroy you have to destroy 4 of the 5 laboratories to disrupt the ritual. Now, in every ritual, in every episode, no matter which one it is, this Elder One, that's Cthulhu, you choose which Elder God is going to get summoned. Every Elder God that you summon is going to have a completely different flavor and add a completely different twist to the episode. So Cthulhu, who's our villain today, he's going to come with his own deck of cards, his own monsters. So he comes with a star spawn, nobody else does, and his own where'd I put him? One second, there.
So every episode's replayable with all the different gods then?
Everyone, and it's replayable in and of itself. You'll see why in a moment. So Cthulhu's going to come with his own Mythos cards, and the episode is going to come with its own Mythos cards. You take Cthulhu's Mythos cards, you take its, you stick them together. That's your deck for the episode. This Discovery deck, which is the story that's going on in progress, where you guys get to figure out what's going on. That is unique to this episode. When you're done, you'll put it back in. Every episode has its own deck. So, the game itself is for a C1 game with lots of miniatures. It is very simple. We wanted to put all the depth into discovering the game and figuring out what's going on as the horror recurs over and over and over again. It is a cooperative game. You pick a player, that player goes first, and you just keep taking turns, go on and on and on until you fall or until he falls. It's got to be one of those two. On your turn, you get to do 3 things, and then after that, the game is going to do 3 things to you. The 3 things you do: run, gun, rest, and sometimes trade. The game, after you've done your running, gunning, resting, then the game is going to let you discover if you're safe. Then it's going to throw a Mythos card at you, which is always, no matter what, the Mythos card is going to come up. It's going to drive the AI of the board, move monsters around, unpack part of the story. Remember, the Cthulhu cards in there are going to harass you in the way Cthulhu does. The story cards are going to harass you in the way that's ongoing in the story. We designed all these that they all kind of click together, and you get this unique tapestry every time you play. And then any monsters that are in your space are going to attack you. So, let's just go ahead. Now, unfortunately, I'm the only one who's technically allowed to touch the miniature, so what would you like to do? You have 3 actions. You may run up to 3 spaces. The spaces are artistically designed. If you're wondering what doors you can go into, it's visual, but you can just follow the arrows. Like, I'm allowed to go in this way and allowed to go this way. 1, 2, 3.
How does the attack work? Is it line of sight? Do you have to be on the same tile?
So we'll get there. You can move up to 3 spaces. However, if you move, he's not there. He's there. If you move through, if you leave a space that has enemies in it, all the enemies follow you. So be careful. If you drag a bunch of enemies around there, that's great, but then they're all going to attack you and you're going to die. If any player dies while Cthulhu is still on the track, your game is over.
Everyone has to live.
Everyone has to live. Once Cthulhu gets here, or you disrupt the rituals on the board, then you only lose if everybody dies.
If you disrupt the ritual, will Cthulhu still come?
He comes immediately. As soon as you disrupt the ritual, no matter where he is on the track, he shows up.
Oh.
But if he gets here before you disrupt the ritual, he shows up and you can't hurt him. So he's just going to be there pounding on you, and there's nothing you can do.
Oh,
so like-
that doesn't sound like fun.
Disrupting the ritual-
That sounds terrible.
Disrupting the ritual is the only way to make him even touchable.
Oh.
So for the rest of the game, you attack him and he just slowly kills you for the rest.
Well, you eyes on the prize. You got to disrupt that ritual. Blow up the labs. All right. So let's say, for example, our this is the wrong miniature, but we're going to pretend it's the right miniature. Let's say that the Morgan's going to take his turn. So he's going to go. All right, I'm going to go on a move. Say I'll move through. That's action number one. He doesn't want to drag a bunch of cultists with him. We'll do that. When you attack, attacking is fairly simple. You choose a target. And you attack the target. You make a roll. All rolls are the same. You roll these 3 basic dice.
Yeah.
These 3 basic dice will tell you what you do. I'll just make a roll here. So I'm going to take this cultist. Roll. I want to fight you. And you make that roll. All right. Great results. Good for you. Great rolling dice. So the results are. I'm going to ask you. What do you think happens? What do you think this does?
No idea.
Any guesses?
Be damage. And it goes like that. Action.
Something with Cthulhu.
So that's a success.
Okay.
That means you've done a damage to your target. Tentacle. Every tentacle means you lose 1 sanity. Now, sanity is a two-way street, right? It is. There's good things and bad things about losing sanity. The first thing, of course, you end up here, you are toast. Goodbye. You're out of the game. However, every time you hit one of these thresholds, your insanity goes off. So in Morgan's case, OCD, you actually have to reconcile his stress and his health to be exactly the same. And any discovery cards you picked up, you have to reconcile to make sure they have exactly the same on both sides and discard all the rest.
And like her, she would pass out.
She would pass out, go catatonic, but nothing can attack you while you're catatonic. So a little trade-off. Paranoia, I think this is the wrong version, so forget what it says there. Your paranoia means when your paranoia goes off, every monster on the board moves 1 space closer to you. It's not paranoid if they're actually after you. But if nothing attacks you, now, so that's those 2. Let's say you rolled an Elder Sign. Elder Sign does nothing unless you have the skill Arcane Mastery, which allows you to count those as successes. And then finally, there's Tentacle and a success. Now, let's go back here. Whenever you make a roll for any reason, you have a stress meter up here. You can spend 1 stress to reroll any die you want. So let's say, for example, you're like, I don't want to go that. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, one more thing, very important. Not only do you set off your insanity, but you get to raise one of your 3 skills up 1 level and get more powerful. So going insane is actually pretty good. You are driven by madness. The more up here you go, you get to unlock more skills, and your skills get better as they go on. All characters have a unique skill that only they have, and they have 2 skills that come from one of the 6 basic skills in the game, like stealth, the ability to run away from people, marksman, shoot from a distance, or toughness, hard to hit, that kind of thing. So you get to up your skill. So going insane quickly is not a bad idea. Just be careful, of course. You end up there, any tentacle kills you. So, you want to do some rerolls? You can reroll 1 dice at a time. You can do as often as you want.
Let's go crazy. Is a hit?
So,
how much is their health?
Oh, how much is that? Good question. So cultists have 2 hit points.
So you want to roll on this one.
So you've done 1 wound turn. Want to do it again, or do you want to reroll?
Roll 1, right?
Reroll 1. All right, look at that. Okay, that was a hit already. So you've rerolled it, so you get 1 sanity. You kill that cultist. Goodbye, cultist. Terrible for you. You still have 1 more action. You can still move. You can still move. You can still attack, or you cannot rest. You can only rest if you're in a safe space, no enemies.
Good attack again.
You could run to those labs and start. Oh, sorry. Every episode has 2 unique actions that are only available in that episode. So in this one, you can extinguish fire. So if you're here, you can roll to extinguish fire. Every success gets rid of a fire token. Or you can destroy equipment. You can roll to try to blow up lab equipment. Every lab takes 4 hits to destroy.
Can you run through fire, or do you have to put it out first?
Well, you certainly can run through fire. What happens is if you leave a space with fire, you catch fire.
You catch fire.
You catch fire. At the end of your turn, every fire token on you have to roll a die to wound yourself and then get rid of the fire token.
When you rest, does your insanity go back down?
No, it does not. Sandy is a one-way street.
Gotcha.
So if you're rolling for like fire damage, you don't want exclamations, you want a blank, right?
That's right. And if you get tentacles, you go insane from fire. Because it's almost like it's maddening, right? Now, the thing is, here's the twist, of course, it's your turn. On your turn, anytime you roll, you can spend stress to reroll. So even when monsters are attacking you, when you're taking damage from fire, you can use your stress. Your stress is your most valuable resource. You use that to reroll anything. Stuff you're rolling, stuff that's rolling against you.
Does fire hinder your enemies?
I'm sorry?
Does fire, like, if let's say he ran through
Your
the
enemies?
air,
No, your enemies love fire. It is their favorite. The Bayaki wants to take a bath in the fire.
like Beavis.
It's only bad for you. The game it's unfair. Life is not fair. So for your third one, you want to attack him again, or do you want to drag him along with some friends?
I'd run into the lab.
You're gonna run to the lab?
Yeah. He's going to follow
you. All right.
Risk it.
So I'm gonna. So let's see. Now you don't have stealth or anything, so
We're all dying.
so you're gonna go 1, 2, 3. Now you've dragged these two with you,
And I'm on fire.
and you're on fire. Oh, I already gave you some
Bad life choices.
bad life choices. So you're done.
And I'm next to a science lab.
Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna draw a Mythos card. Mythos card, the Crawling Chaos. Each cultist moves one space toward you. Well, that's no good. Who can make it in? Hello. He's coming out.
Oh,
He
man,
has to
you're
go out
dead.
there. He has to go out this way. That's Bayaki. This cultist, going down the stairs.
So that's upstairs.
If you are in a Relie space, I don't know what that is yet. Interesting. Lose 1 sanity. Then summon a cultist at the yellow gate and at the red gate.
There's more.
There's a yellow gate over there, and there's a red gate over there. There's a hard limit of plastic. If you ever need to summon something and you can't, lucky you. Of course, that means all that's already on the board and you're dead anyway. Now, this Mythos card has a summoning symbol on it. You leave it in the center of the table. If 3 or more Mythos cards have shown up, then we stop the game for a second. The Elder One advances. A bunch of bad stuff happens. So in this episode, all the cultists set their space on fire. The Cthulhu himself actually, whoops, let me,
Your left one. Is that not the right one?
there we go. Cthulhu has a number of cards here. When Cthulhu advances, he puts a Relie token on his space, and then you summon a cultist in every Relie space, and then the star spawn comes onto the board and starts attacking you. So, these 3 cultists have to attack you now. Cultists roll 2 red dice to attack you. Where are my dice? There they are.
How does the game scale with players? And is there an ease level to make it easier or harder? Or?
Nope. The game is always hard. The game does scale. I'm just going to tell you the game scales. When you see all the rules, you'll probably be self-evident to how it scales, but it does scale. You want to roll those? So this cultist is going to attack you.
We want blanks on this, right?
You want to not get hurt if you can.
Oh.
You take 1. Do you want to stress it?
That's only from one cultist?
That's 1 cultist. I guess you're going to take a wound.
We'll take 1. We'll
All right,
see.
why don't you do it
Press
again?
your luck.
Ooh, a wound and an elder sign. Nothing, that's not going to happen. You want to take it? I guess you're going to take it, unless you want to stress it.
Not yet.
All right, 1 more.
Oh, blank.
There you
Finally.
go. There you go.
Saving those for the bad stuff. Good for you. Now, you are on fire.
Blank. And
More
I'll
damage.
stress it to reroll, right?
All right, go for it. And you can keep re-rolling as long as you want.
Oh, no. You're not good at this.
You're really bad at random.
Yeah.
You can re-roll again if you want. Oh, that's
No,
on.
I didn't. Yeah.
Okay,
I'll
that's
take
fine.
it.
So you did actually stress to re-roll that. So don't worry, you're almost dead.
Yeah, it's all
Easy
good.
game.
Maybe you
He
can
hasn't
join the
moved yet,
cultists.
so
Maybe they'll
that's
let you
awesome.
join their ranks
Now,
at this point.
So you've seen a little bit of the game, right? So like, I don't want to spoil too much, right? But so let's say, for example, let's say I have another investigator in the fray. fellow investigators were.
But since I survived, I'd be able to destroy this next round, right?
You could
So
try,
these are-
yes.
Oh,
yes,
you're
you
right.
could.
It's
Now
not
the thing is,
automatic.
the problem is your liability to your friends if you're dead because you caused the game to end.
Because you-
So I'm gonna,
take out the other
I'll show you guys a couple of tricks, but only because you're here.
Well, I love the.
So
my
here's,
favorite game
I was
is
trying to get a hold of you, man.
We were playing Mansions of Madness.
so here's
today.
Rasputin. Who has another sheep. We'll tell you more about him later. Oh, hello, I'm Rasputin. Bar. So let's say, for example, Rasputin was here. Right, what I could do is I can go, oh, my friend is really hurt. I can go and move one in here, and then I'll move out and take all these guys with them.
Oh, that's clever. I like
Right? Like, all right, well, now they're on me. Absolutely, yes. Now, some characters have stealth. For example, none of these guys do. The first level of stealth allows you to leave one monster behind every time you go. So you can even get more picky and like you can make little chains of monsters while you leave them. But now, of course, as your skills go up, you get crazy powerful, right? Of course, you also get more insane. The last thing I'm going to show you guys is if you end your turn, so Rasputin, he doesn't like his friends, so he went here. If you end your turn in a safe space, no enemies, after you draw your Mythos card, you can draw a Discovery card and start learning a bit about the story. So I'm going to not spoil that one because it's really fun. I'm going to try to show something that's already been, that we've already shown. Here's a good one. No, we haven't shown that one.
We're not looking.
Do all the characters have the same health and stress levels?
No,
Are they gonna be
most do, but not all. All right, we showed this one already. So let's say you go through. When you pick up Discovery card, there are these big cards. This one's called Cages. Tells you a little story. And by the way, reading the story does give you some insight into playing the game. So always read the stories. It's not just fluff. We hide a lot of the complexity inside the decks. So if you read all the flavor text here and you read all there, you have a little bit better idea how to play. So you find one cage contains a one-handed lamp monkey. Interesting how cunning he seems. If you have a guilty conscience already, take one stress. I wonder what that is. You may claim the monkey as a companion. So that would
You could get a monkey
There
companion.
he is,
one-handed?
He has one. Oh, look at that! He has health. You can put your wounds on him, and then he dies.
So you shove them in front of you.
However, if the lap monkey dies, you will now have a guilty conscience.
That now you know what a guilty conscience is. There you
I
go.
wonder. You think that might affect something, right? So anyway, I'll just a couple little.
That's awesome.
All right, I'm gonna leave.
Do you know how big that giant mini they announced last night actually is?
Bigger than a baby.
It looks big. It looks about as big as some of my kids.
It is probably. I just want to be.
So what kind of game is it? It's like a.
It's cooperative.
Where do we
Could
put
beat the
it?
game without that
Yeah, I guess it's
20.
And they're trying to summon you. It's like story driven.
Oh, it's the wrong version. That's
And
why.
you're trying to shut down this ritual before
sorry about
Cthulhu
that.
is fully summoned.
There are some cards
if you
in
shut
here
it down
that,
soon
like,
enough,
trigger
he'll show
off
up and
the
you can
guilty
kill him.
conscience. That make-
If you
that
shut
make
it,
your life
if you don't
suck.
shut it down in time, then he'll show up and then
So
he
everyone
can't be
just
killed.
takes their turn. There's no like
And I don't even
moderator.
know what you do after
Nope,
that.
it's
but
no. Just take your
maybe you
turn.
have
There's
to
no
escape.
GM. You just
said
take
you
your
have to
turn.
kill
You take your turn. You take your turn. Take your turn.
Until
right?
everyone dead.
until
you have to
them
kill
or them is dead. Right. So the game goes on. You have a board. Oh, there's no elder something.
So it's not always
there.
Cthulhu. It could be like Haster.
There's different. Yeah, you choose the different
Yes.
elder
Right now
god.
we're playing Cthulhu, who is different from Hasker. But oh look, it's the end of some
Haster
5
just
turns have passed.
ended my life.
3 summoning symbols are out. Cthulhu advances. Roar! He makes the space of whoever's turn it is. It was his turn. Now the space is really A. The world is becoming closer to his home world.
Thank you.
Some cultists get summoned there, and then all the Mythos cards go back into the Mythos deck and get reshuffled.
It's a pretty good preview. It looks exciting. Launches on Kickstarter
When you rest, if
Tuesday.
you're in a safe space, when you rest, you recover.
Looks so much better than Monsters of Madness or like any of those other games.
Every episode, by the way, every action, you can do it multiple times unless for some reason we say you can only do it once.
So I could rest twice?
You could rest twice if you want. Yeah. Of course, that's your turn.
Yeah, that'd be terrible. So let's say you said you can attempt to destroy it. So
Sure. Well, you have to roll. So the action is you have to
Very
roll.
cool. Can't wait. Hey, make sure you subscribe. Don't forget to enter the latest giveaway. Make sure you leave a comment. Eric Lang teaching Cthulhu, Death May Die.
In this particular situation, it is advisable that you spend. The lab's not going to fight you back. You've got to kill some of those guys before they hurt you, or get some of your friends